go ahead and blow out the candles, girl, because you are about to be a teen and I can't wait. Hey everyone, this is Lady Sweetheart and welcome back to the Disney Princess Challenge. So I know what some of y'all are probably thinking, like, we are on the Tiana Gen, why are we here at Snow White's castle? So for today's episode, I definitely still plan on aging up Tiana and Charlotte and making them teens, but I thought this would also be a great time to kind of do a little catch up with the rest of the family and just take a little gander as to where everyone is right now and what's going on in their lives. And I thought we would start from the oldest to the youngest. And so obviously we always see Cinda, so she's technically the oldest. And we know next down the line is actually Blair. So Blair's siblings have all moved out from the cottage. She has moved in, and as you can see, she has a few new little ones in the house with her. So somebody a while back, and I can't remember who it was, so I really apologize. I don't even remember what video it was commented on to go back and look, but someone suggested, okay, let's take a look at this. This is adorable. But they said, wouldn't it be cool if Blair decided to adopt some little fairy children and they could end up being the three fairies for Aurora's story? Because if you'll remember, the next generation is actually Aurora. And I loved the idea. I was like, that's perfect. So that is who we're seeing here. Basically, Blair, she decided she wanted to adopt, and she came across these little girls. And Blair, we know, has become a decently powerful witch, and as such, she can sort of pick up on magic energies. So Blair picked up on the fact that all these little girls, even though they come from different biological families, all have this magical aura and magical ability. What she's not aware of is they're not witches like her, they're actually fairies. I do have a fairies mod. Unfortunately, with that mod, you can't make Sims fairies until they're teens, so I couldn't actually make them fairies yet. So you'll see that I did make them spellcasters. For some reason, they don't have the custom plumb bob here, but if you look in the corner, you can see, you could see, actually, I'm going to just pop into cast anyway, so that you can get a better look at these little girls. Now you will be able to see that they all are technically spellcasters right now. Once they become teens and they're able to be fairies, I will change it at that point. But basically, yes, Blair adopted these three little ones, and it was sort of fun. I've actually never adopted in The Sims, if you can believe it. So it was really cool. Like when they were little babies, I had no idea what they were going to age up to look like. But yes, this is what they all kind of, I tried to stick with their basic looks that they had. I didn't really try to match their physical appearance too much to what they look like in the movie, just because the fairies, I just thought it would be fun to keep them, just however they aged up. So I'm going to go through, and you'll see I did give them the names as well of the fairies. So like the first one is Flora. And what I thought was interesting about Flora when I read about her is apparently Flora loves the color pink, but wears red. And so she's the one, I believe, that at the end of Sleeping Beauty uses her magic to keep turning Aurora's dress pink, arguing with the other one about who keeps wanting to make it blue. But strangely enough, apparently in the movie, Flora wears red. So I did dress her in red, like the movie. I just put a little bow in her hair that has the pink in it to sort of represent the pink too. But anyway, I just love Flora. I think of all the girls, like they're all super adorable, but I think Flora might be my favorite right now. And I thought it was so cool that she aged up with these purple eyes. Like normally I would not keep that, but because she's a fairy, I thought it made perfect sense for her to have those purple eyes. So apparently Flora is sort of like the leader of the group. So I did give her the independent trait. The next one is Fauna, and Fauna's color in the movie is green, and so I dressed Fauna in green. She's super adorable as well. Like I said, they're all adorable. I guess Fauna is meant to be sensitive and into music, if I remember correctly, so I did give her the clingy trait. I thought that correlated well with being sensitive as a toddler. And then finally, we have Miss Merriweather, who I feel like is easily the feistiest of the little fairy. Well, they're not little in the movie, but right now they're little. I feel like Merriweather is meant to be the feistiest of fairies. And Merriweather is the one that keeps battling Flora at the end for the color of Aurora's dress, and she's the one that keeps turning it blue. And so obviously Merriweather's color that she represents is blue. So I did dress her in that. And again, super, super adorable. So anyway, yeah, that is Flora, Fauna, and Merriweather. But yeah, I think it's going to flow really well into the next gen when we get to Sleeping Beauty. But yes, now that we've checked in on Blair, the next one down the line is actually going to be Harper Happy. So Harper Happy, as you may remember, was very loved up with a beautiful vampire girl named Lydia. So they actually are living together now in Forgotten Hollow. So what I decided with them is I love the opposites attract dynamic. So what I thought about that was the realistic thing would be keep them together. I'm secretly rooting for them. Not so secretly, probably. But I'm like, because they're opposites, let's just kind of let the game decide how, whether they stay in it for the long term. Oh, okay. Lydia has learned Harper Happy's woohoo interests. So that's apparently going very well for them. So maybe my wishes about them and my, not so secret hope that they'll stay together is actually going to come true. I'm taking this as a really good sign. So this makes me happy. No pun intended. Oh, what is this one? Faithful Forever from the Faithful trait. I didn't even know she had that. I guess this sort of makes sense with vampires, though, because I feel like with vampires, they would go either way. They would either be like, I'm living forever and I just want to, explore different people because I don't, that's a long time to be with one person. Or I could also see them with the Faithful Forever thing. Like, I just want to find that person I can be with forever. And clearly Lydia is in that camp. But yeah, I mean, how could you not adore these two? So next down on the line is Happy's twin, Gavin Grumpy, who we actually did just see in the last episode. But some new developments have occurred in Gavin, Grumpy, and Ara's lives already. For one, I did go ahead and do what I had talked about doing last time, which is I did have them move out of King Noel's castle into their own place here in Willow Creek. You can see they're in this very nice neighborhood of Willow Creek. So I'm going to check in with them and show you the newest developments with these two. So we are here with Gavin and Ara, our newlyweds, and Gavin's in quite a flirty mood, which I guess makes sense. However, the first development I want to show you is with Ara. So if Ara will stand up, you're probably going to be able to see a little bit better. But it turns out that I was right at the end of the episode. Ara was getting sick. I wasn't imagining that. She is now pregnant. I believe, she's still in her first trimester. What's this broken heart? Oh, she's shy, so she feels uncomfortable flirting. I mean, he's your husband, Ara. He's been madly in love with you for years. I don't think you have to be shy about being romantic with Gavin here. He's crazy about you. So that is the first thing, is they are getting started on growing their family. But the other thing is that Gavin has taken a huge step in achieving his dream. Since Gavin was living in King Noel's castle, his primary responsibility back then was caring for the animals for Rotten Lucifer as well as Sweet Bruno. And during that time, he discovered he has a real love of animals, and especially for dogs. And so he decided, I want to open my own vets someday. And he actually has done that. I mean, as you can see, he's just getting started, but he has opened it. And it's actually just across the way here in Willow Creek. It is over here. So yeah, he now owns this cute little vet. I think it's adorable. I did get it from the gallery, I believe. So in spite of Gavin being the grumpy dwarf, things are going very, very well in Mr. Gavin's life right now. But let's go ahead and check in with the next sibling. Technically, it should be Doc. However, we see Doc all the time, so I feel like we're kind of up to date with him. And we know what's going on with Doc. So That means our next kid that we're checking in with is Dolly Dopey. Now, Dolly Dopey, of course, is Devin Doc's twin sister. She has moved out of the cottage and got this beautiful place all on her own on the beach of Tartosa. It actually looks like it's cold in Tartosa today, which surprises me. But it's actually very close to where James, oh, that makes me sad, James and Cinda spent their honeymoon when they came here. We can actually probably see it from here. Oh, yeah, it's this place here. You might remember that, but that is where Cinda and James spent their honeymoon. So Dolly is right across the way here. And basically, Dolly, she is just living it up, loving the fact that she has this place on the beach all to herself. She's actually working, just doing freelance writing. I can't imagine that she makes really enough money to afford this place on her own with just her writing. But you know, when your dad's the king, you kind of don't have to worry about money. And unlike Cinda, who I think would very much be like, I want to do everything on my own, I feel like Dolly Dopey is the type who would have no problem taking money from her parents. I also mentioned in the episode where Cinda and James got married that Dolly very much strikes me as being asexual, and I would even say just not really interested in the romantic side of life at all. That's just how she kind of strikes me. It's just not a priority for her. So again, I think Dolly is just loving having this beautiful place on this beautiful beach all to herself. Okay, that's making me sad again because I can definitely clearly see the honeymoon place where James and Cinda went. It makes me think of happier times before we lost James. But yes, this is the beautiful view that Dolly gets to have breakfast next to every day. Okay, well, it's 12:30, but again, Dolly Dopey strikes me as the type of girl, a girl after my own heart who probably sleeps in pretty late. Much like Gavin, I would say things in Dolly Dopey's life are going very well for her right now. But that only leaves one final dwarf to check in on. And of course, the final dwarf we need to check in with is none other than youngest sibling, the baby, Serena Sleepy, who, if you remember, after Cinda played matchmaker, got her together with this prince here. I can't remember his name. And she is now living in this royal palace with her new husband, Prince Felix, and his parents here in Del Sol Valley. I thought the hills area of Del Sol was kind of appropriate for a palace. But I also wanted to make it clear that this is definitely a different kingdom than where King Noel is, which is in Windenburg. And it doesn't get much more different from Windenburg than Del Sol Valley, in my opinion. But anyway, as you can imagine, Serena Sleepy is also quite happy with the way things are going down in her life. She lives in a palace where there's servants. We know our Serena, she's beautiful as can be, but she's got the lazy trait. She doesn't like to work or do much, so she can definitely live that life of leisure and luxury quite easily. And yes, I did go ahead and not sure why this is coming up. Is Serena Sleepy planning to get pregnant? I mean, I could see that go either way with her. I could see her not really caring about having kids because, again, kids are a lot of work, and I don't know if Serena's about that, but at the same time, they're royal. They probably are expected to have at least one heir. And let's be honest, when you're royal, you can hire a lot of people to help you with the work. So maybe she would. I was like, wait, why does she only have two traits? Is she a young adult? She is a young adult. I just don't know what happened to her other trait. I'm going to have to fix that. But anyway, she is married. And maybe Felix doesn't know her third trait. I don't know what they've been doing all this time, but they are married now. He actually looks like he's on his way to spend some time with her. Wearing an outfit that, if it's not obvious, I didn't actually make this outfit. When I created all these royals, I had so many to make, I didn't do all their outfits. So please don't hold me responsible for what Prince Felix is wearing right now. I would really appreciate it if you didn't. I did make them all have celebrity level, again, since they're royals. But one little piece of tea here, or sip of tea, I guess. Anyway, is if you look at the relationships in the house, Serena actually gets along pretty well with King Charles, Felix's dad. She does not get along with Queen Lucille. Queen Lucille, a little known to everyone, despite her public image. She has this squeaky clean public image, but Queen Lucille is a diva, as you can see from her traits. She is a very cutthroat kind of person, which, as you can imagine, is not really Serena's type of person. Anyway, so that concludes our getting caught up with all of the siblings. What event are you guys talking? Oh, no. We're not staying here to do a welcome wagon. Heck no. Plus, this is a palace. Like, we don't have just common people arriving at our palace for a welcome wagon. Are you kidding me? So we are now back in the correct princess's house with little Tiana. And as you can see, we do have Charlotte and Doc over here because on this fine Saturday evening, we are actually going to be aging up Charlotte and Tiana. So out here, I actually do have a cake right here, and I didn't go with a frog cake this time because they're gonna be teenagers. What I actually went for this time is I thought of like a more Charlotte type of cake. It's like a white chocolate strawberry cake. It's one of the Granny's cookbook cakes. Just because I could see Doc like saying, hey, I'll just buy the cake and bring this like really fancy cake for their birthday. So anyway, that's what I did. But yeah, y'all are gonna have to stop this because we are gonna have everyone come out here. Maybe not Jameson. Jameson, you could play or whatever. Like, this would be boring for you. He looks like he's agreeing with me. Like, yeah, you're right. Please come over here. Tiana, my girl, I don't know what you're doing. Why are you doing sit-ups? You're supposed to... Oh my gosh. This group thing works so well. Let me just tell you. Go ahead and blow out the candles, girl, because you are about to be a teen, and I can't wait. Her story doesn't actually start until she's a young adult, but at least we're closer. And I'm super excited because I think we're going to get a really good idea of like her grown-up look. And I just have a feeling, guys, that she's going to be gorgeous. I'm not really feeling that hair on her, but... Okay, so she was already squeamish. If there is one about cooking, I definitely want to give her that. There's a master baker, but foodie, I feel like, is much more appropriate for Tiana. We know she wants to start her own restaurant. She already has that goal as a teen. She wants to carry on the dream that her dad had and honor him that way. But I don't think there's a specific aspiration for that. Well, there is a food one. There is a chef one. A master chef, not mixologist. I don't think it would be famous pastry chef. Master chef, I'm sure, is the closest one. So we're just going to go ahead and give her that one. Yeah, that's definitely not feeling the Tiana vibe with the hair. It's a pretty hair. It's just not Tiana. But let's see if I can peep out what she looks like a little bit. Okay, she turns her head. Oh my gosh, guys. Like, can you already see how gorgeous she is? But yeah, now we are actually going to age up Charlotte as well. One thing I also wanted to show you guys, last episode when I stopped recording, these two had like a super strong friendship, just from playing with the dolls and conversing, I guess. So I went ahead and I had Tiana ask Charlotte to become best friends. And as you can see, they were able to become best friends. And so these two are best friends now, which I absolutely love because I definitely feel like by the time, they became teens, they should be best friends. And yeah, so this hair that Charlotte has is a little closer to the ballpark for Charlotte LaBouffe, but obviously it's a Max's Match hair and we use the alpha hairs in this series. But let's just hop into Cass really quick and take a quick look at Tiana before her makeover. But yeah, I don't know that I finished my thought, but what I was saying was I feel like by the time they were teens, Tiana and Charlotte would definitely be best friends. So I'm really glad that that did happen. And apparently Jameson has acquired thinking skill. Yeah, so girl, I feel like you're going to be gorgeous, but this look is just not screaming Tiana at me. But let's just take a look. Like, blue freckles don't really scream Tiana. Orange hair doesn't really scream. Oh my gosh. She's so freaking pretty. Like, this is before I've even touched her or given her a makeover. Like, I'm so excited. I was also just thinking, I believe Cinda is still a young adult. I kind of feel like that probably needs to change now that Tiana's a teen. But I'll let you guys I mean, she would have been young when she was born. I think she would be like 19 or 20. Tiana's in high school now. I kind of feel like the adult age in Sims begins at like 35 and a young adult is before that. That's kind of how I think of it. So I think Cinda is like right in that time frame. She might not be there quite yet, but I think if she's not, she's close. So I kind of feel like it's time to age her up, but I'll let you guys let me know what you think. And then of course, pretty soon after that, oh, your hair has changed, my dear. But yeah, pretty soon after that, we will probably have to age up Nola and Nivea to elders too, and I'm not ready. But anyway, first things first, we're going to concentrate on the happy, which is giving Tiana a makeover. So with a snap of the fingers, I can't snap very well, but with a snap of the fingers, once I'm done, we will be back, and she will be all made over in a matter of seconds for you. As promised, I am back with you with a newly made over Tiana and Cass, and oh my goodness, I was definitely right. She is absolutely stunning. It was so hard because I was thinking about Tiana's style, and I'm like, I feel like she would be very casual and minimalistic in her style. You know, Tiana's a very busy girl, as we are about to see, and I just don't see her being the type of girl that would prioritize like spending a lot of time on her makeup and all of that kind of stuff. And also, as far as her wardrobe goes, I try to keep in mind that, you know, their family doesn't have much in the way of money, and Tiana is the type that she's going to save every dime that she makes to try to save up towards her restaurant someday. And so I tried to keep that in mind. Trust me, as gorgeous as this girl is, it was so hard for me to resist the temptation to just doll her up. But that's not realistic, and it's not true to her character. So I did give her a very casual style, as I'm going to go through. Something that I noticed when I watched the Princess and the Frog movie was, and this is her waitress outfit, by the way. I noticed in the movie her waitressing outfit was a yellow kind of dress, so this was the closest I could come. But yes, back to what I was saying. I noticed in rewatching Princess and the Frog that a lot of Tiana's outfits are this lighter color of green. Like what you would see here. So I did sort of switch to that instead of a lot of the bright greens like you'll see for her formal. For her formal, I just decided to give her like a teen kind of look, like something that she would maybe wear to prom or something like that. I'm just scrolling through her outfits, and I'm trying to remember the ones I gave her multiple so that you can see all of them. But yeah, obviously lots of green because it's Tiana. For her party and her formal, I did give her a little more makeup for that. But yeah, as I was saying, I just think that she is absolutely stunning. I am so excited to get going with her because she is just an absolute beauty. So anyway, that is Tiana and her makeover. I hope you like what I did with her. And now that does bring us to BFF and best cousin Charlotte. And of course, I went a completely different direction with her makeover. So with Charlotte, I could full on go glam, and obviously Charlotte's gonna wear like designer labels and the most expensive stuff because, you know, we know Doc is very wealthy and holds back nothing from his dear little girl, Charlotte. I also changed her second trait to be romantic. I was trying to think of what Charlotte LaBeouf type traits would be. So she had the cheerful trait before from being a child, and I gave her the romantic trait as well as the soulmate aspiration, because we know in the movie, Charlotte is very focused on finding her prince. And ever since she was a little girl, like if you remember like the story that Cinda read them, like she just thought that like it was so romantic kissing the frog who turned into the prince. So Charlotte has a much different outlook on life than Tiana does, and a much different background. So anyway, we know Miss Charlotte loves her pink. So I did give her a lot of pink. Oh, and I probably should show you a little bit more like with her face. I definitely love the cartoony look that she has about her face. I just feel like, again, like none of these characters that I'm doing are meant to be exact replicas of the princesses in the movie, but I definitely want them to be inspired by them and stylistically, have some similarities. So I was super happy with how Charlotte came out because I think she definitely gives off the Charlotte LaBeouf kind of vibe. And so again, like obviously we've got the tiara going, like Charlotte just goes all out, as we know, with the labels, with the glam. It was actually super fun for me to do Charlotte's makeover because like that's kind of like what I like to do with a lot of my Sims is just go super girly and glam. I mean, it is fun to go a different direction sometimes too. And it is a nice challenge. Like it gets boring after a while if you just always do the same things. So it's kind of nice sometimes to challenge yourself to do something different. So anyway, yeah, these are all of her looks. I loved this for her, and I also loved how like it's kind of similar to what she had as a little girl, and I don't know, I just think it's the perfect look for her. So anyway, I hope you like the girls' makeovers, and I will see you back in the game. So Tiana is in here talking with Charlotte, but one thing that I do want to make sure that we do with her is I do want her to get a part-time job. Now that Tiana is a teen, I definitely think she wouldn't waste any time in getting out there and working towards, hopefully owning her own restaurant, fulfilling her dream of getting enough money to buy a restaurant someday, as she knows that her father wanted to do. So I actually would love for her to be a waitress, but I know that's not a part-time job in The Sims. So I figured what I would do is take a look and see what would be the closest thing. I'm kind of thinking either barista or fast food employee. Honestly, I feel like fast food employee would be the closest to being a waitress. So I'm going to have her actually go ahead and sign up for that. Like we're just going to kind of in our minds, like think that she's a waitress and pretend that she's a waitress. But as you can see, not only is she a high school student, but now she is a fry cook as well. And so Tiana's life of working hard and being exhausted is about to begin. I'm actually going to go ahead and end the video here. I know this isn't how I typically end my videos, but basically what happened was I had originally intended to just have Tiana as a teen be one episode. However, with going in and catching up with the Dwarfs, as I went into editing, I realized it would be way too long. As you can see, we're approaching close to a half an hour now. So I'm actually going to be releasing the rest of Tiana's teen story in the next episode. So anyway, I would love to hear your thoughts about where all of our dwarfs are now. I would also love to hear what you think about how Tiana and Charlotte came out as teens. As always, don't forget to like the video if you did enjoy it. Drop a comment below. I do always love hearing what you have to say. It honestly makes my day. You all are amazing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.